Have you ever found your family member's bag of weed and smoked it? Because I have.
Multiple contact! Fuck off!
So this story directly takes place after the story that I just told you guys, and if you guys missed that story time, you might want to go check it out. It's about me smoking weed out of a tampon holder, which is kind of bizarre, kind of weird. You might want to go check it out after this video, but this directly takes place after that story, so if you guys want to get more insight on what's going on, that is what's going on. So basically, we're on a plane, we're going to Florida right now, and that's what's happening. So, we get off the plane and my grandmother picks us up, right? And I'm still a little stoned from what was going on the earlier episode, and I was just kind of, you know, getting into the groove of things because Florida's freaking awesome. I can't wait to just hang out and chill with my family, and basically we go to her house. Now, a lot of my family members like to do the same thing that we're doing right now, which is basically going to visit my grandmother in Florida when she lived there. So, a lot of them would come down, you know, keep some stuff there that they'd bring down just because they didn't want to have to keep bringing it back and forth. And my aunt thought it was a good thing to basically bring a bag of marijuana with her on a plane, somehow get through security with it under her tits or some shit, and then brought it down on the plane all the way down to Florida, and then kept it there at my grandmother's house. Now, I don't know if my grandma knew it was there per se. I don't remember how this went down where she actually told us, but I think within either a day or two, my grandma and my mom actually ended up talking to my brother and I about there being weed in the house, and me and my brother were like, wait a second, what? There's weed in the house? This just makes this trip way more freaking exciting. And we basically start, like, rummaging around the house trying to find stuff. And we're like, wait a second, why does that doesn't even make any sense. Why would there be weed in the house? And then we go and ask. My grandma says that my aunt brought weed on the plane, brought it down to Florida, and then hid it somewhere in the house. Now, she said if we can find the weed, our beneficial to finding this weed is not, you know, getting stoned and finding it. It's basically, you know, getting money. They told us that if you find the weed, give it to us so we can flush it or hide it for your aunt, and basically we'll give you some money for it. So figuring out that 100% proof that there is weed in the house, it probably took my brother and I about an hour to find this bag of weed. And my brother eventually found the weed in a birdhouse in a little cuppy. You can stick your finger in there and pull out the bag of weed, and that's where it was. It was pretty, honestly, it was probably the easiest hiding spot ever. And my grandma probably had this weed sitting in her house for a year. Don't know why she didn't find this whatsoever, but apparently my aunt wanted us to find the weed, so just in case she didn't have to bring any more down, somehow she'd get it past more security. I don't know how she would do that, but we found the weed, and we were like, wait a second, why would we want to get money for this? First of all, it's a more fun experience, okay? I'm not going to be able to buy this experience. This just makes this trip way more exciting than we possibly could have ever imagined. So we basically lied to my grandma and my mom saying that, oh, we can't find it. We don't know where it is. And we end up smoking it probably, I want to say 3 times out of the night until we finally kind of gave it to my grandma and my mom because it wasn't the best. And it was a decent amount. It wasn't like too much. Like if you had a corner of like a Ziploc bag, it was probably, I don't know, maybe, if anyone smokes weed, it's probably like 2 or 3 grams. That's pretty much what it was, to be honest. So it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot. It was all shake, and it was kind of shit weed. So we were smoking it a little bit, and we're like, okay, this is kind of crappy. We're not really getting too much out of it. We made like foilies and all this crazy shit, just trying to make it a little bit more effective, and it wasn't working. And we were young at the time, so we didn't really know too much about it anyway. So we were like, okay, this is kind of stupid. We'll give up on it. And we actually gave it to my mom, and then she actually gave us money. And then my grandma looks at it, she's like, wasn't there a little bit more in there than what there was? And we're like, no, there wasn't at all. This is how much we found with it, and it's a very low amount, and it's kind of shit weed. That's what we told her straight up. We were like, I don't know where my aunt gets the weed, but it's kind of shitty. I'm not gonna say it, but it's kind of shitty. So, and they were like, how did you know it was shitty? We're like, we can't tell you that. We can't tell you that. So, basically, they put it back in the same hiding spot. For some reason, my mom thought it was a good idea that to basically put it back in the same hiding spot, not to flush it or not to hide it in a different hiding spot or, you know, give it to my grandmother to hide. Basically, they put it back in the birdhouse. So one of the nights when my mom and my brother were sleeping, I was like, man, I can't sleep. I'm going to try to, you know, do something. So I find the weed, I take it in the garage area, and then I start smoking like a bowl or two or something like that. And at first, like, I was like, okay, this weed's kind of shitty. Let's keep smoking more. And then eventually smoked more, enough where my body felt like it was melting. It was very, very weird. It was very sticky outside at the time, so my body heat felt like it was rising very, very quickly. And then I was like, oh shit, this is kind of sketchy. What is going on right now? I just remember, like, really trying to sneak into the house. I was like, oh, no one's gonna smell this at all. And I started, like, creeping into the house. I think I bumped into some walls here and there. And then I finally get into bed. Now, we were sleeping on air mattresses. And air mattresses are probably the most uncomfortable thing to ever sleep on, just in general, without any sort of, you know, comforter or any sort of blanket that you're sleeping over, because you got those, like, weird deep creases. And then, like, it's like a rubbery, sticky feeling on your back. So if you're, like, sweaty at all, like, your back's gonna stick to it and, like, kind of peel off. It's disgusting. I know. It's gross. So being stoned on my mind in Florida and being very hot and sticky and my body feels like it's melting and hopping into a bed that literally felt like a casket made me feel like I was dying, and it was very, very difficult for me to sleep because I kept tossing and turning over and over again, and it just felt very, very awful. And that's why to this day I will still not sleep on a blow-up mattress. I hate those things. Those things can die. They can go to hell. They're straight out of hell. They're made by the devil himself. But anything I say in this video, just take it with a grain of salt. You know, 420, blaze it with a grain of salt on top of it. You know, you want to do this in only legal states or maybe places that their fines are very cheap. You know, just in case. I don't know. I'm not your father. I'm not your parent. Sometimes you guys call me daddy, so that happens. But anyways, you know, go 420, blaze it outside your house in a parking lot with a stripper with some cocaine on your lips. Yeah, have fun.